Hi, this is Fabian from Sunbelt Valve Bodies here in Tampa. This is my tech Renee. Today we're talking about the RE0F11A CVT transmission. Let me go ahead and spin it around. We're going to go ahead and disassemble this unit for you and show you how to properly tear it down and to look for any problem areas. Before we get started, let's talk about a couple tools you'll need. You're going to need a rubber hammer. You're going to need at least a couple pry bars, some picks, a 12mm Allen, a 10mm wrench. Then you've got a 12 socket, 10 socket, 14 socket, 16 Torx, a 6mm, a pair of needle nose pliers, and of course we have a 3/8 gun. These are the things that you would need to get started. So the first thing we're going to do is remove all the electronics off of it. That's what Renee's going to do. The reason you want to remove the electronics off it first is while you're moving the transmission around, you're not going to damage these components. So you definitely want to take these off first. Those are a primary speed sensor. Going to go ahead and take off the secondary speed sensor. And of course we got the output speed sensor, which is on the differential. Great. Then we're going to go ahead and remove the cooler for it. This has an external cooler. Uses engine coolant to cool it down. There we go. We got an in and out passageway. Okay, put it over there. Next thing we're going to go ahead and remove is the filter. Now this is a serviceable filter. There's a little tab here, you got to raise it up, give it a turn. There you go. So that fluid's not too bad. And that's the filter too. Okay, so when you go to rebuild this unit, you're going to want to put a new filter in there, okay? Try to use OEM filter as well. Alright. Okay, next thing we're going to do is go ahead and lay the sucker down. I'll take the torque converter out. Let's go ahead and remove that out of the way. This is the torque converter for the CVT. It's your basic converter. There's nothing really special about it. Works just like all other converters. So we'll just put that on to the side. Okay. Alright. It's like a pan that waffle. So next thing we're going to do is lay it on its side. There we go. Now this is the first time opening up this unit, so we'll be the first to open it. Oh yeah, let's take a look and see. Looking for big pieces of metal, really don't see anything. There's quite a buildup of some clutch material. Kind of normal wear and tear. Still haven't found the failure, so we'll go ahead and put this aside. Let's go ahead and take the filter off. Let's take a look at the filter too. Let's see if there's anything stuck in it. I don't see any metal or anything. Just regular clutch material. There you have the O-ring. Before we take down the rest of the valve body, let's talk a little bit about what we see here. We have the manual valve right here. That's where the rooster cone hooks up. This is where you put park, reverse, neutral, drive. This is a new sensor they put in. It's called a high clutch sensor. And then you also got your temp sensor, which they still use today. So let's go ahead and remove the body. Guess remove the manual valve first. Switch to a 14. Okay. Perfect. All right, let's remove. I believe we have to 12, 10. We have 12 bolts we should be removing here. They're all going to be the long bolts. Los largos nomás. Central. Definitely. Esto todo está aquí, vean. Oh, señor. Esto todo está aquí. Este de aquí también. Ahí está. Alright, he got it out there pretty good. So let's see what we got here. Let's talk about this valve body for a second. This is a 5 solenoid valve body. TCC, we have the B solenoid high, we have the low clutch, which is also a linear low pressure, we have the high and reverse linear, which is high, and then we have the A linear, which is also high. We have the secondary pressure switch right here, we have the high pressure switch here, the manual valve, which puts it in gear, and then we also has the temp sensor. So those are the components that are on this valve body. If you notice, the stepper motor is missing, is no longer there. Also, we have a ROM chip, which is a read-only memory chip, which works along with the TCM to communicate with the valve body. Let's go ahead and put that aside. Okay, so if you can look inside the transmission right now, we could see the pump. This is the internal pump it has. And in all these passageways, these are the internal passageways for the case. You could supply air in each one of these passageways and work the components such as the forward clutch, the reverse clutch, the variators. There's a pattern for this that we could show you. But let's go ahead and disassemble it the rest of the way. We're going to flip it back over on its face now. El aceite está en la cama. Casi todo el piso. Alright, let's lay it down. Okay. These are all 12. turn it around a little bit. We got these still. There's one you're going to have to use a ratchet, no, a wrench I should say. That's 12 millimeter. Couple left. Okay, he's going to try to smack off the front cover. Try to be gentle with it when you're taking it off. It's stuck on there pretty good with silicone. There we go. There's the front cover. Let me talk about this piece really quick. This is the front cover. What you see right here is the parking paw mechanism. This is what puts it in park for you when you move the rooster cone. So it's parked. This, when you unpark, this locks the gear, and it's for the it locks the differential gear. This is a feed tube for the forward clutch. Okay, pretty simple cover. Put this on the ground. Okay, before he disassembles the rest of it, let's talk a little bit about it. Put this off to the side. What we've got here is we have ourselves an internal pump, high volume pump. It's chain driven off the torque converter. We have here the parking paw lever. This is what puts it in gear. So if you would go to park, would be right here. That's park. So then you got reverse, neutral, drive, and low. But this is how the car, you put it in gear. Okay. We'll go ahead and remove this part. This part, the big part you see right here, this is the differential for the transmission, and this is the gear for it. And this is where the parking paw locks when you park into park. Okay, so go ahead and remove this piece along with this one, and they come right off. Okay, so, and they look like they're in good shape. We're looking at the bearings. The bearings are in good shape. They're not discolored. The seal rings look really good. This is pretty good. Put over there. And he took the gear down, so let's take a look at it really quick. This is the differential. Looks like it's in really good shape. The bearings don't look discolored. They look good. We definitely would clean and reuse this piece over again. Okay, go ahead, and those are two passageway tubes. One is going to the forward clutch housing. That supplies oil pressure, and this supplies oil pressure to the front cover. Go ahead and disassemble the pump. Let's get that out of there. Move this. Okay. You're going to need a needle nose plier, and you just spread apart the snap ring to remove this piece. There you go. And then the whole thing comes right off. So we're looking at here, we're looking at the same thing. Looking at the chain, make sure it's in good shape. There's a bearing here. You want to make sure that the bearing's in good shape, and it looks like the bearing's in good shape. So this piece is in pretty good condition. I don't see any problem with it. I'm sure we'll be reusing this piece over again. Some of the other stuff that you're noticing right here, there's some shrouds that he's going to remove. This just helps keep the splash down. So let's go ahead and remove those, 10 millimeter. Quickie. Okay, now you can see right here he's exposed the pump. Just about getting it out. We have to remove a few more pieces. Let's go ahead and remove the idler pulley. This is the idler gear. This is where the torque converter rests on. Quítame. Okay, let's pop it off. Let's take a look. There's also a bearing here, and there's a bearing right there as well. Okay, so I want to make sure it's in good shape. And there's also a bearing here. So you want to make sure that this bearing is in good shape too. And it looks like it's intact. That's pretty good. Okay, put that back. What this piece is the idler gear, and this is where TCC is being applied. It pushes the pressure through the torque converter through here and releases pressure through here. A little secret on this, make sure that these bearings are good when you put it back together, and then when you torque it back down, make sure you use some Loctite. This is a weak area of this transmission. Go ahead and put that over. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the pump. Oh wait, he's gonna remove a feed line. Now this line is for engagement of the second gear on the planetary. What you're looking for here is make sure you got a good seal, good boots on there, and the O-rings here. It's probably stuck right there. So let's just make sure that you've got good seals when you put this back together. Go ahead and take the pump out. Saca la bomba. Okay, well yeah, before we take the pump out, you gotta remove the rooster cone. Let me tell you why. You won't clear the pump unless you remove this rod first. Okay, so we're gonna go to the side, remove the pin. There was a pin right here that held the shaft. Okay, this comes out. Then he's gonna go ahead and there's another pin that we need to knock out. That's the rooster cone stop. You're moving that out of there. Okay, now he's got to knock a pin out to get the rooster cone out. If you can see, there's a little pin. You cock it to this one side. There, it fell right out. And then he's got to take these 10s off. I'll take them off for you. So you can pull the whole unit off in one piece. Okay. Pretty simple. Kind of put it together to keep it all intact so when you go to reassemble it. Okay, great. Alright, now since we got the rod out of the way, we're able to go ahead and remove the pump out of it. So let's go ahead and move the pump out. Just going to use a 6mm an extension. There we go.
See it.
So there we go. There's your pump. Okay. This is a very high volume, very efficient pump that they've put in here. Let me go ahead and let's do an inspection. You got a 10 on there? 10? Let's just take a look and see what's inside this pump while we have it apart. Might as well show you. Like any pump, you want to mark it when you take it apart, but for the sake of this, we're just going to disassemble it for you to see. be careful pulling it out. You don't want all the pins to fly out on you, so kind of support it as you're pulling it down. There you go. So you can see this is a vein type. It's pretty sweet. That's what makes it a high volume pump. Very sweet design, whoever came up with the design. Very nice. And then this also has a pressure regulator on this side. Sometimes these go bad, and I think Sonics makes an upgrade for them. So let's just put this aside. Yeah, I'll go ahead and assemble really quick. Like that. Nothing to it. Okay, it's a good pump. Let's go ahead and let's talk about the rest. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and remove the front cover. This is for the clutch pack covers. You're going to need a 16 Torx. It just popped right up. Okay, slowly take it off. Just want to look at this piece. This is the front cover, and as you can see, here's your first piston. This piston works with these springs, and this is the reverse piston apply. This pushes against the reverse clutches to give you reverse. Okay, so that's that piece. That's the piston there. Let's go ahead and roll here. We have yourself a bearing here for the forward clutch pack. Let's go ahead and remove it. We'll put this up there. Okay, a little help from the thing. So what we have here is we're tearing it apart. We have these are our reverse clutches. This is what applies against that one piston right there. And what we're looking for is wear and tear. Burned up clutch steels, burned up clutches. They're in really good shape. So didn't see any problem there with this training, so we'll go ahead and put that aside. These go here. They push against that piston. Okay. Then we have here, let's go ahead and pull out the other part, which is our planetary gear set. Inside, this is our forward clutch. Here's our forward clutches that we have inside. Okay. Here's our ring gear. This ring gear mates up with the first set of planetaries, which are in right here. It's a two-piece planetary. You have one sun gear here, and you have another sun gear here inside, and then you have 1, 2, 3 planets surrounding each sun gear. That makes it a dual planetary set. These will come in here, mesh in with the clutch packs. Sometimes you got to wiggle them around a little bit, and they'll go down. There you go. And this one too. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that. That's the forward clutch. Then we have another steel ring in here. That's part of that forward clutch. And then we have a snap ring in here for the secondary gear apply for the planetary set. So we're going to remove that snap ring. Let Renee do it. Once you get it going, you can pull it around. That's what he's doing. Pretty easy. Let's look at these clutch packs. These are for your second apply. This is for the planetary to apply the second gear, and you're looking at the steels. They look like they're in good shape. And you're also looking at the clutches. They're also in good shape. So that looks pretty good as well. We'll put that on top of the clutch pack. Okay. Then when we got left, we got another one. That's our second gear piston apply. That one's a little trickier to get out. once you get a lip started, it'll come out. Right now, it's very difficult. There you go. Once you get it started, then you'll be able to feed it around. There we go. Wow, that snap ring was hard to get out. Let's go ahead and pull the second clutch pack out of it. Here's the spring, the return on the clutch, on the piston. Now I gotta pull that one out. It's a piston that's inside. There you go, just back and forth. And the piston will come out, there you go. So here's the second gear piston and your bearing. What you wanna look for, you wanna make sure that the O-ring's in really good shape. It's not broken, and it's in good shape right here. This goes together like this, and the bearing goes in there like that. Okay, so this is the piston for second gear for the planetaries. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, we got a pump seal. That always got to be there too. Now let's see what we got in the front cover. Let's just explain here. All we see is the primary gear, and we see the secondary gear. This is the idler pulley that we didn't pull out to look at, but it's in there jammed pretty good. Oh no, it's not. Let's see. Yeah, it's in there. There we go. Let's take a look at it. Looks like it's in good shape. Okay, yeah. And that goes on to the end of the idler right here. There's also a little thrust washer here, and it's in there, and it's in good shape. It's stuck in there. Okay, we're good. All right, let's go ahead and disassemble the variators. Now we're going to flip it over on its side. Okay. We'll go ahead and disassemble this. Now you're not going to remove these two bolts yet. These hold the variator bearing. You'll do those last. So you remove everything else first. No estos. No le quites esos. No le quites esos. Yeah, I think we got them all. Okay, there's a pry spot for them. You can try to pry them up. There you go. There's some dowel pins, so sometimes you have to fight the dowel pins. There you go. Got it. All right, well, there are your variators. This bearing tried to come out a little bit. Well, that's okay. Let's go ahead and remove this one, Renee. Let's get these two 10s off, and then the rest of our variators fall off. That loosens the bolt. Con el martillito, dale con el martillo. Cuidado las cositas de esas. There you go. There you go. All right. So there's the back cover of the variators. Want to let you know that there's thrust washers back here too. So make sure that you put those back in place. Here's the other thrust washer right here. Right. And if you look right here, these are seals. This is where it gets pressure from for the primary and secondary. As you can see, it's fed by these two holes. Okay, so air comes into each one of those, primary and secondary. So right here we have the rear bearings. They're in good shape, you can hear them. This too is in good bearings. What you're looking for here is you're looking for the face to see if it's chewed up. It looks like it's in really good shape. This chain's in really good shape. Let's see if we can, if there's a way of slipping it off. And there was. Okay, so there we have our secondary. Here's our chain. Here's our primary. Our secondary. Secondary has the exciter wheel on it for the speed sensor. And over here we have our belt. So I just want to show you a little bit of something about the belt. If you look, if there's worn, it would be worn right here. This belt looks really good on both sides. Also, you can see it's a directional belt. So make sure you put it on the right direction. If it was a worn belt, you probably want to pull this out a little bit. And what you're doing right there is pulling it out, see, is you're making sure that there's no cracks inside that band. This is a multiple band belt. This band looks in good shape. I'll push that back together. Now what I'll do also in the meantime while I'm waiting to put it together, we like to tie a couple nylon ties around it. What that does, it keeps the belt from separating. Okay, so put a couple nylon ties around it. And that just helps keep it together while you're rebuilding the rest of the transmission. Okay. And there. And then let's just talk a little bit about the case. This is the middle case. Really didn't see anything wrong with the unit. This is our oil feeder for the two variator pulleys. This is oil level. You can check through the side. And that's it. Pretty much a center case. This whole train is taken apart. At this point, we would go ahead and do an inspection of the rest of the transmission, the case, all the clutches, the components, buy a kit, remanufacture, and put it all back together again. Thanks for stopping by here at Sunbelt today, and I hope you enjoyed our demonstration on how to tear apart a CVT transmission. Thank you. Thanks, Renee.